Hey, I'm Ward Neely, and I wanted to take a little time to explain why we've built Gumption. So, I started my career in real estate about 12 years ago. I spent the first half of it doing tenant rep work and site selection for a bunch of national retailers. Worked about half the time for the shopping center group, and then moved over to SRS before ultimately going out on my own. I slowly transitioned into the development side of the business, and the first kind of few deals I did were more urban revitalization, historic rehab type stuff, and then used my tenant rep background to do a little bit of out parcel retail development as well. Fortunately, we had some good deals, and we would roll the equity in from one to the next to the next, and that's how we grew. And naturally, I didn't want to have a whole lot of partners, so I would pony up and put as much in as I could. Unfortunately, the biggest deal that I ever took on was in January of 2020. We started construction maybe in the second week of the month, and about 6 weeks later, COVID hit, and the whole world shut down. We had to shut the project down. Fortunately, I had a lender who was as accommodating as they possibly could be. They allowed me to extend the interest only more than what they had originally committed to. But when it was time to start back, I only had 6 months left of IO, and my option was to either refinance it or go permanent. Permanent would have been less than pleasant experience that wouldn't have lasted very long. And unfortunately, part of the project was a 22-room boutique hotel, and there wasn't a lender in Alabama that was lending on hospitality deals at the time. So I ultimately sold a big chunk of the project to an out-of-state group who then refinanced at the closing table with an out-of-state bank, and that was a light bulb moment for me. I knew that had I known that bank, maybe I wouldn't have had to sell so much of my project. Naturally, the guys I sold to had a much better balance sheet than I did, but nonetheless, I probably wouldn't have had to give away as much as I did. And that was really the light bulb moment for us, and the impetus for starting Gumption was how do we expand our lender network for developers, where the typical process is sending a deal out to maybe 3 to 5 lenders. It's very manual, it takes a lot of time, through multiple phone calls, a lot of emails, and even still, you might waste 3 weeks and get 5 no's. And so what we sought out to build was essentially a dating app that instead of love, you're finding money. On one side of the deal, we onboard lenders. We ask them about their geographical footprint, their legal lending limits, what buckets are empty, what buckets are full, how can we help them build their pipeline and fill their loan criteria with high quality leads. And then on the other side of the marketplace, we have people like me who would upload their deal to our portal by answering about 20 questions as far as NOI, construction budget, stabilized value, and then desired loan amount. And then the Gumption algorithm is going to connect the borrowers with the 10 best lenders on our network. So right now we're running with about 150 lenders. Ideally, you get 3 to 5 term sheets from those first 10. In the event that you don't get 3 to 5 term sheets from those first 10, then we'll go to the next best lender in the platform. So ultimately, Gumption is a matchmaker that connects borrowers with more optimized lender options in a much more efficient manner.